Welcome back to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really powerful. The specific traits that take a man from just, being in the room to being absolutely unforgettable. We're going to unpack this whole concept of quiet strength. So whether you're laying the groundwork for a brand new relationship or trying to deepen a lifelong partnership, the insights we're covering today are going to give you a really practical roadmap.
So, what actually makes a man truly unforgettable? I really want us to challenge some of the common misconceptions out there about what builds lasting impact and, well, real emotional connection. Society constantly feeds us this super loud, very specific version of what an impactful man looks like. But let's be honest, we gotta ask ourselves, is that loud, chest-thumping behavior really what leaves a lasting mark on someone's heart?
Look, there's a massive divide here. On one side, you've got those superficial traits, right? Wealth, looks, or just being the loudest guy in the room. But on the other side, that's where you find profound impact. It's not about the superficial stuff or making a lot of noise. It's really about the internal stability you project, and more importantly, how that stability makes your partner feel. An unforgettable man doesn't just take up space, he becomes a feeling, a state of profound comfort.
All right, here's our agenda for today. We're exploring this journey from inner mastery to outer connection across 6 traits: emotional restraint, deep listening, respectful distance, purposeful life, calming presence, and silent forgiveness. Let's get right into it.
First up, trait number 1, emotional restraint, the anchor in the storm. Your emotional composure during moments of anger, or refusal, or criticism, that is literally the bedrock of your character. Think of emotional restraint like being the anchor in a storm. A truly mature man doesn't need to shout to validate his strength, right? He anchors the whole situation with quiet composure. Picture this. Your partner comes home, totally stressed out from work, and lashes out over something super minor, like a misplaced set of keys. The immature reaction, shouting back to prove dominance. But if we put our coaching hats on for a second, our objectives during high-pressure conflicts like this should be really clear. Pause, process, and project peace. Honestly, choosing silence over arguing when you're provoked instantly de-escalates the tension and shows some profound inner strength.
Because, as you can see, true emotional restraint isn't about not having feelings. It's a storm inside, but peace outside. It's choosing to master those feelings so they don't blow up your relationship. A super practical daily habit you can use for this is just a basic breathing exercise. Next time a harsh or unfair criticism gets thrown your way, try this out. Instead of snapping right back, take a deep 4-second inhale. Just hold the silence. Let the words hang there in the air for a second. That tiny pause lets you process the internal storm while projecting absolute peace on the outside. And trust me, showing vulnerability through that kind of composed patience deepens trust immensely over time.
Moving on to trait number 2, deep listening, hearing the unspoken.
Let's look at how this internal mastery translates into how you actually connect with your partner. Deep, active listening has these very specific layers. It's so much more than just hearing the words coming out of their mouth. And going through this process is exactly what makes her feel genuinely important and understood on a really profound level. For instance, say you're having a minor disagreement about weekend plans. She might say she's fine with whatever, but you can hear her tone drop, right? A master of deep empathy doesn't just take that word fine at face value. He hears the spoken words, sure, but he understands the hidden exhaustion, recognizes her desire for a break, and interprets the silence. By validating her feelings without arguing, saying something like, "Hey, you seem really drained. Let's just stand and rest," you cement yourself not just in her mind, but in a quiet, really safe place in her heart.
All right, trait number 3, respectful distance, leaving with dignity.
Now, inner strength is absolutely crucial when a conversation or a connection is failing. Because your self-worth isn't dictated by one person's decision, you never lower your standard. You step back peacefully without losing your cool. Imagine an argument that's just spinning in circles late at night, turning into these petty little jabs. Instead of a reactive ending with shouting, blaming, or begging to be understood, you choose a peaceful retreat. You simply say, "You know what? We're both tired. I'm going to step away until we can speak kindly." And you just leave the room. This intentional silence and the absolute refusal to engage in petty squabbles protects your self-respect, and it demonstrates serious character maturity. And listen, she will remember a man who walked away with his dignity intact way longer than a guy who stayed and made a scene.
Next up, trait number 4, purposeful life beyond romance.
So, internal stability actually requires a foundation built on personal goals. It can't just be about romantic validation or constantly seeking attention. Your life has to go beyond romance. A man whose whole world revolves around being praised by his partner is frankly empty.
Prioritizing your own personal goals inherently draws long-term admiration and respect. A great way to do this is by implementing morning routines that reinforce your sense of purpose. For example, instead of spending your Sunday morning just waiting around for her to decide what the plans are, you wake up early, you hit the gym, you read, or you work on a passion project. When your partner sees you walking a personal path, passionately pursuing a dream, and embracing life's struggles to improve yourself, that naturally strengthens her commitment to you.
The crucial point to take away here is that by prioritizing your own growth, you become a complete person who can offer a truly genuine, stable partnership. You're not just part of an empty life, you're a purposeful traveler on a meaningful journey. You are inviting her to join that journey, not asking her to be your entire reason for existing. True maturity is knowing that focusing on self-improvement makes you a far better, far more reliable partner in the long run.
Trait number 5, calming presence, providing sanctuary.
Think about the vibe, the immediate environment that your emotional maturity creates for your partner every single day. It's really about providing a sanctuary. When you cultivate this inner stillness, your quiet presence doesn't add to her pressure. Instead, it creates this feeling of absolute safety and comfort. The world brings noise, but his presence brings peace. Think about the tiny, everyday acts that show this. It's the way you casually pour a cup of coffee without rushing around frantically, or how you just sit quietly next to her after a chaotic day without forcing a conversation. The world out there is loud enough. Simply being fully present and centered literally creates an invisible shield of safety for your partner.
And finally, trait number 6, silent forgiveness, releasing the chains.
This brings us to what I consider the ultimate act of internal mastery: how an unforgettable man handles being wronged. Say your partner makes a genuine mistake that inconveniences you. Maybe they completely forgot to pay a shared bill. Instead of holding that over their head for weeks just to extract guilt, you quietly fix the issue and you let the resentment go. By choosing to drop the desire for revenge or retaliation, you are prioritizing the health of your own spirit over some temporary petty victory. There's a huge personal benefit to choosing forgiveness. It isn't even necessarily about the person who wronged you, it's about refusing to let bitterness pollute your own mind. You're prioritizing your long-term peace over a fleeting argument. Now, it takes immense maturity to understand that choosing silent forgiveness is a profound display of character and self-control. It is never a sign of weakness. It's never submission. Actually, scratch that. It is literally the absolute peak of inner strength. When you forgive silently, you are dictating the terms of your own emotional landscape. You're maintaining that calm, intentional mindset that we've been building throughout this entire explainer.
An unforgettable man establishes his legacy simply by being a steady, reliable, and deeply empathetic force in a chaotic world. Think about 3 super common scenarios: a sudden financial stressor, a massive family argument around the holidays, or a forgotten anniversary. In all 3 of those situations, a calm approach prevents future regret and deepens respect. If you want to build this habit, I highly recommend creating a really simple checklist to review your weekly emotional growth. Just ask yourself, did I maintain my composure this week? Did I practice active listening? Did I prioritize my personal goals? Tracking these specific acts of character pretty much guarantees you are building the kind of internal stability that fosters long-term trust.
And this right here is the ultimate truth you should take away from this explainer today. Your highest value is defined by the emotional safety you provide. Choosing quiet composure is what defines a man as truly unforgettable. Long after your specific words fade away, the feeling of absolute peace and security you provide will remain permanently etched in her memory.
So I want to leave you with this. Are you building a calm presence that speaks louder than words? I really encourage you to reflect on these 6 traits today. Ask yourself if your typical reactions are crafting a truly unforgettable, mature presence. Try this quick reflection exercise. The next time you feel the urge to react sharply to something, just pause. Actively transform that knee-jerk reaction into a thoughtful, calm response. Step into your quiet strength. Ask yourself tonight, if your partner had to describe your presence right in the middle of their worst storm, would they say you were the anchor or just more noise? Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep learning and growing.